Hi guys, yes this is another gaming video, but before we go into this game I'm going to give you some real life physical advice here. Now I've just had a really unnerving experience and I thought I'd better share it with you all. Headsets. Okay, if like me you tend to hang your headset on the wall, on a hook or under your table, something like that, you might not use it for a day, come back to it. When you pick the thing up, before you put it on your head, look in the ear pads. No word of a lie guys, I've just had the world's biggest black spider nestling in the ear pad, was obviously looking to make a home in there, and thank God I didn't stick the damn thing on my head. Okay, this thing was, well okay, it's England, so yeah, big enough. For England, that's a big spider, okay? Anyway, so I've evacuated him from his home, and he's now not living in my headset, but I'm going to keep probably twitching away. Anyway, sorry, digressing badly there, but that was good advice. So check your headsets. Don't put it on your head. Spider in the ear, not nice. Right. Everspace. This came out earlier on in the year. It's on Steam and GOG. And price-wise, we're currently looking at, what, £22, I believe? Yeah, quick look there. It's a roguelike adventure, as it calls it. Now, I'm a big fan of Elite. I also play No Man's Sky. Still play No Man's Sky. This has got very positive reviews. I believe it focuses more on combat, although there is obviously collectibles and crafting and everything in the game. So, okay, let's get the game, see what it's all about, and check in some PC options and see what it supports and doesn't support. So if we go straight to the options setting, at the top here, obviously mouse keyboard support, and obviously it's fully customizable. Yeah, we've got mouse sensitivities there. System mouse, what we got, centered crosshairs, invert your axes, auto roll, etc. Controller, native Xbox One controller support, as you'd expect. Also native DS4 controller support, and yes, of course, Steam controller is supported as well. Have tried all three, works fine. Flight was a bit weird with Steam controller, but personally, I don't get on with the Steam controller too well. It requires quite a lot of practice, you know, in my opinion, to get on with the Steam controller if you're used to using a normal controller. But being a flight game, actually I'd recommend the mouse keyboard, to be completely honest with you, and I normally invert my axes to you know, suit my play style, as it were. That's up to you. So you've got the usual, like I say, you can invert your axes and stuff on the control pad here. These are your control pad options. So if we just go back, customize your controls. There's a lot to it, look. There you go. Other, yeah, other one fills in if you've got the other ones connected, like I was saying. So there's quite a lot there. So you can have a quick look through all those options. There you go. Feel free to pause the video if you want to check something in detail. I won't read every single one out. It's extensive. There we go. Right. If we go back and back again. Right. Next one. Display. Okay, now the game does look very, very nice. I booted the game up and it booted into a windowed 1080p mode. Didn't go ultra wide straight away, but luckily, as you can see, it clearly does support ultra wide properly. So resolutions, you have got your normal 1920 by 1080 there, and some weird ones as well, as you've just seen. Go all the way down. We go down to, let's go all the way to the minimum setting here, see how well it scales. So 800 by 600 is your minimum, yeah. Let's go back up to what I need it to be. Would be quicker to click back at this stage, but still, there we go. Yes, it does support all the way up to native 4K. I had it plugged in the 4K TV over there, not a problem. So it will support that quite well. And the load isn't too bad either at 4K. So if you've got a reasonable system, you know, one of the newer i5s coupled with something like a GTX 1070, or maybe a Fury, AMD Fury would do it. Looks like the GPU usage memory wise was sort of hovering around 3.8 gigabytes at 4K, and that's with high settings on. So as long as your system's fast enough, you should at least be able to hold around 40 frames per second. Like I say, I did try it and that's roughly what I was getting, but personally I prefer to game on the ultra wide monitor instead of the 4K TV, so we're back at that. Okay, so display modes, as you would expect, you have windowed, Yep, shouldn't have really clicked that, should have, while I was recording. So windowed full screen and windowed. Let's go back and back to full screen. Okay, subtitles on and off, colourblind on and off, and there's your FOV. Now obviously you can stretch that, but it will impact your GPU. Sitting here on this title screen, as you can see, we're using 2.4 gigabytes of VRAM, not a lot. And this GPU currently is not running flat out, it's on idle, but it is, like I say, just a title screen. So if you want to extend your FOV, can we keep finger on it? No, got to press lots. Okay, it goes up to 110. Okay, put it back to 90. What does it go down to? 70. Yeah, that's pretty much the norm, isn't it, with these games? Oops. Okay, we've got third person FOV, which I believe would go to the same. Yes, 110 all the way down. 70. Let's go back up. There we go. Okay, now you've got your advanced setting, which has preset to Epic for this system. Now this system being a bit dated now, it's an R9 290X 4GB card at standard clocks. Okay, so that's 101250 megahertz. And it's a FX 8350 8-core processor at 4.2. 16 gigabytes of 1833 RAM, and the game is installed on a Samsung SSD. Operating system is Windows 10, and that's installed on an Intel SSD. So like I say, it's not the youngest of systems nowadays. I have in fact got a new case over there ready to build a Ryzen system, which I'm slowly building up. But you know, if this system can run it on Epic, fantastic. Anti-aliasing quality Epic there. I think you just go to high, medium, low. There you go. So all those will be the same. Let's just quickly whiz through them. Yes, there we go. In fact, it altered the display picture behind the menu there, so that's nice to know, isn't it? Post-processing, low. There we go. And shadow quality. This would be a good one if you're struggling with performance. You could always downgrade this a little bit to make your performance better. There we go, low. And if you watch the asteroidy fragments in the background there, you will see the difference it makes to them as we change it. Texture quality, always another good one. If your GPU is struggling, you can lower this down and gain a significant speed increase. So go low all the way, yeah, that's the minimum one. Obviously on a game like this, it's fairly fast paced, so 60 frames per second is your target area. You could run it at 30, I suppose, but I'd prefer it nearer 60 if possible. Draw distance. Yeah, you can see that change as we add things. There we go. Smoothing frame rate. That's an interesting one, isn't it? On and off. VSync on. Don't need it on. Got a FreeSync monitor, so off that goes. If you haven't, obviously do engage that. There is no half VSync or double or anything like that. It's just straightforward on and off. Okay. What else have we got? Screen percentage, 100% of the screen, 110. No, we don't really want to do any of that. Anti-aliasing method, we've got temporal AA and FX AA and off. Now, obviously, your jaggies on the diagonals and curved edges, you're going to see them big time if you leave it off. FX AA isn't very intensive. It won't hit your GPU very hard. You could leave that one if you're struggling a bit. And obviously, the top one, temporal AA. That's your nice one to have there. Only 3 options. Motion blur on and off. In certain games, motion blur can have quite a GPU impact, so you'd have to monitor that one if it affects your individual system. Chromatic abbreviation is something I absolutely detest. It's the bluey, shiny edge to all the surfaces that the developers seem to absolutely love. We turn that one off. Personal preference. Doesn't really have an impact on performance at all. It's up to you if you like it or not. A bit like film grain. Okay, so that's that. I wonder what frame rate we'll get on this one then on Epic. Now bearing in mind ultra wide, there's more pixels than a normal 1080p monitor. Yeah, a lot more. So just bear that one in mind. So if you've got a similar system to mine and you're in a 1080p monitor, you will get a higher frame rate than mine. Okay. Alright, let's go back and we'll go to sound. Nice and simple options. Music, volume up and down, sound effects, volume up and down, and voice up and down. It is only stereo. It doesn't do anything on a 5.1 system at all. So it's just stereo. Game. there you go. Camera shakes on, vibration on, show HUD in cockpit view. Yeah, enable track IR, reset run. Okay. Reset to hardcore run, reset to game. I would imagine that's some sort of save game wiping, depending which option down here you choose to play the game on. Language, supported languages. There you go. That's all of them. And back to the main menu. So, let's load into the game and see how it performs. We're on Epic, as I say. Let's get going. So, clicking on New Game, we're presented whether we want first person or third person. I was hoping you'd be able to change it in-game. Oh, you can change camera during gameplay at any time. Okay, so for now we'll go third person so we can have a look at what the spaceship looks like and everything, the detail on that. When using controller, would you like to play with a Y-axis inverted? Yes, you can change that as well in-game. Okay, so, okay, is the game controller friendly? Does it want me to do it?
Something's not right with me. I'm having memory loops. There was a dispute.
Skip. Always good. Nice cutscene there. Won't spoil it for you. Okay, yeah. Controller. What are we getting? 40, 62 frames, 50.
Stand by.
Okay.
Assistance? I suppose I could use some
Boost on the left trigger there. Fire on the right. Missile on the top one. What else we got? What about mouse keyboard? How's it? Ooh. Feels, how can I put it, sluggish with mouse keyboard. That's weird. Feels like it's in jello. No, I don't like that. That's no good. This is designed, in my opinion, for a controller. It's much sharper, much nicer. How odd. Okay, so what we got here, controls then. Boost by pressing down on the left stick. Alright, yeah. Oh, we're meant to be here? Waypoint.
Let's begin by shooting targets.
Well, that
this is a
easy enough.
skippy thing. Wait a minute, let's get this. Controls are weird. You have to use your right stick for up and down. And then your left stick sort of... What does your left stick do? Not a lot. Okay, that's weird. Controls, because I play a lot of Elite, I was sort of expecting them to be similar, and it's nothing like. Arcadey springs to mind.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Understood.
That might be a bit better. Let's try that. Frame rate 49, 51. Okay, we're the right side anyway. This is a bit jarring. What have we got now? It's easier in third person. Oh, that's weird. No HUD at all. I would personally play it like this. This is an arcade shooter. This is not anything but. That's my first impression anyway. I'd have to play it for a few hours to see. What's that one do? What's that? Shield? Okay. Missile, yeah. So how do we switch weapon to the machine gun? Like so. Yeah, okay. So you can switch your weapons between minigun and missile. I'm just going to get used to using the right stick to move up and down. I'd have to configure the alternate controls, I think, to get this playing nicely. Why won't this craft die? Select primary weapons by tapping D-pad up and holding down D-pad up selection wheel. Ah, okay. Well, he doesn't die, does he? Oh, he does die. It's just that my aim is absolutely appalling. Can we not get this working nicely on mouse? This needs a bit of work on mouse. I think you could probably tweak it to be more accurate. I certainly would have to. How do we boost? Not that one. Not that one. It's too sloppy on mouse at the moment. It would need sorting out. It's hard to aim, or I'm finding it hard to aim anyway. Like I say, I'm used to Elite a lot, and I can't compare the two. It's nothing like. Some nice effects. I mean, that looks very nice.
I have created a jump target. Aim towards it and hold steady to leave the orbit.
Okay.
After each transit, your jump drive requires a cooling down phase. As soon as it is ready for another jump, I will create one.
So, what's boost? Not space. Ah, need my mouse inverting. How do we invert the mouse? Options, controls, mouse, keyboard, invert y-axis. Let's try that, see if we do any better. Probably got used to the other way now. That's better. Now we just need to take the sluggishness out of it. Oh, we have to line this up. Okay. Very much the arcade shooter. Okay, pick where you've got to travel to, and then what? Select. Yeah, go on then. How do we do it? Travel, F. Let's do that.
As you can see from your fuel gauge, a substantial amount was consumed during transit. You should aim to refill the jump drive completely. There is a mineable asteroid nearby. Shoot at it to extract fuel.
Yeah, I do quite like the look of this. It's not pretending to be Elite or even Star Citizen, to be honest. It's in its own little area, this is. It actually reminds me of the really old arcade game Afterburner up to now. It's, you know, very much like that. Can we boost in some way? No. Mineable asteroid. How do we jump? None of those. Oh, right, okay. Just so you know, guys, I'm recording onto the same SSD as the game is installed onto. I wouldn't have thought it'd impact it too much being an SSD, but you never know. Pick them up. Or have we got full? Oh, we're full. Okay. Fly towards the junk field. Where's the junk field? Yeah, I got it. Much better now I've inverted the access for the mouse. It was doing me head in. Still need to know what boost is. Oh, we got a picture taking mode. Photo mode. Check that out. There's your picture taking mode. Ooh. Yeah, that's okay. So how do we come out of that again? Can't remember. Change camera F. Alright, yeah. And escape. Resume. Still need... There we go. There's boost. It's shift. I never press shift. Out of all the keys you should press, you should always press shift.
I have located a container at some distance.
Damaged ship components. One of your ship's main components was damaged and is not fully functional anymore. You can repair it via the game repair menu. Okay. Where is the repair menu then? Salvage. Oh.
Ah, resources.
And a weapon. But you don't have a free slot to install it. Decide for yourself whether you want to equip or salvage it. There is an outlaw ship incoming. I would advise activating your weapon overdrive in order to prepare for the encounter.
Weapon overdrive, eh? Press
This will
R.
enhance your weapon damage considerably.
I like the sound of that.
Okay, so we're doing a bit of combat, guys. Looks like I'm about to die, to be honest with you. Oh, this is fast-paced. God, you can do head tracking on this.
Resources are essential for crafting and upgrading your equipment.
So what we go down to there, we dropped to like 37 FPS, didn't we? So you probably have to take it off epic for shadows or texture quality. You know, knock it down a toggle if you were playing on an ultra wide like this. You don't want those sort of jarring drops. But anyway, we won't play this any longer. I'm sure you're eager to try it out yourselves. As you can see, it's not a bad game for the money. Looks quite nice. Should scale nicely across systems. We're only running 3 GB of VRAM here. GPU's only at 750 megahertz now. Should go up to 1000 for that one. So I don't know if we're getting a bit of thermal strangling going on here. I should have done a higher fan profile. Okay, but there you go. In a nutshell, Everspace. Looks like a pretty good game. I'll play it some more and see if it is. But thanks a lot for watching, and bye for now.